Yes, you
Yeah.
were quiet.
I had one of them that like made an announcement during like it was like one of the like new teacher orientations. She made an announcement. She was like, "If I was ever your teacher, come take a picture with me." And I went up there. She goes, "I didn't teach you." I was like, "Yes, you did."
Oh my.
I described myself, and she was like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah, that was me. I was the little short one. Like, didn't really say anything."
Welcome to season 2, episode 7 of your favorite teacher's favorite teacher podcast.
Okay, I'm Emily Shimmel. This is my third year in education. My first year, I taught academic eighth grade math, and then this year and last year, I teach math intervention.
Math, a math teacher. Gotta love math minds because they are a little bit different. The analytical minds are are great. And with that being said, we're going to jump right into the first segment of the podcast. And that's the segment I like to call the journey. And in the journey, we talk about our decision from becoming a teacher to where we are right now as an educator. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you and I'll let you tell everybody about your journey from the moment that you decided, hey, I'll give this education thing a try to where you are currently.
So, when I was younger, I was super into dance, and that was like my thing. So, my first job was teaching at a dance studio.
Hmm.
In Katy, and I absolutely loved it. I loved hanging out with the kids. I loved being able to talk to their parents and being like, they're doing so well, all the positives and everything like that. And so when I went to college, I was like, I really enjoyed like the experience of teaching, not necessarily the fact that it was dance. Um, so I went to college for education, but the university that I went to was like, "Hey, you dance, and we're trying to start a dance program. Will you be part of our dance program?" And I was like, "Sure." So I ended up getting a major in ballet. So my
Wow.
degree is actually in ballet.
Wow. I would have
So
never guessed that.
no. So I graduated early with my bachelor's of fine arts in ballet, and then I ended up getting my alternative certification to teach math after the fact.
Awesome. In teaching math, you said that you got to teach eighth grade math. Is that correct?
Yes.
And now you are in the math elective class. Now, here's the thing. I will say that you saying that you work with kids and dance does not surprise me one bit because your bubbly demeanor and your upbeat demeanor, yeah, that definitely spells out um a dance teacher. So I can see that. I can see that. So now that you told us about your journey, we're going to jump into a section of the podcast that I like to call the yin and the yang. With somebody as positive as you, I'm pretty sure you haven't had any like bad days in education. Um, but in this section, that's what we talk about: our worst days as an educator and our best days as an educator. And I like to start it off with the worst day because then we can end it off on a positive note with our best days as educators. So, why don't you tell us a story about one of your worst days as an educator, and then tell us about uh, one of your best?
Okay, so one of my worst days, it was just, I woke up and I just knew it was going to be a bad day. I would like to say that. It was like one of those like gloomy days. You like don't want to get out of bed. You're like, what am I going to wear today? I just want to stay in my PJs. Um, but it was my first year teaching, so we all know even like your first year, no matter what, you're gonna have a rough day because you're
Oh yeah.
just figuring it all out. Well, so I get to school and the t teaching wise, everything was fine. Like I wasn't having like a great day, but it wasn't a terrible day either. Like it was just going through the motions, all of that stuff. And towards the end of the day, all of these kids
Hmm.
just started like barreling into my classroom. just like running into my room. And I was so like overwhelmed with students. And I kept telling them, I was like, get out. Like, y'all need to get out of my room. I didn't even know some of them. And they just kept coming in and in and in. And I was like so frustrated, and none of them were leaving. And
Mm.
then I ended up getting shoved by one of them into the trash can.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
The
And then
not
I got,
not not the trash can in your classroom, but
yeah.
really?
And I got
Oh,
stuck. And then like it was like a whole and then like the security came and like pushed them all out of my room, and they had to like help me out of the trash.
oh my goodness. Wow. And okay. So for the audience out listening to this, Mrs. Schimmel is a very popular teacher.
Yes.
The kind that every time I pass by her classroom, she's got students outside wanting to talk to her, wanting to tell her about their day and everything that's going on in their lives, actually. So, like, to hear that she's got bombarded by a bunch of students in her classroom, I can see that, but
Yeah.
hmm, thrown in a trash can.
Yeah.
That's a new one. That is a new one for this podcast. I have not heard a teacher getting thrown into the trash can. So your students were bullying, basically,
You
is
know,
what I'm
I
hearing.
don't think now, I could be wrong, but I don't think they meant to put me in the trash can.
Of course, of
I
course.
think they were just all so the way okay my the first school I taught at, the way we
Hmm.
did dismissal was everybody waited in their eighth period until
Right.
their bus number was called or whatever whatever whatever. And so they just did not like the classroom they were in. But then,
Hmm.
you text your friends like, hey, I'm going to Miss Schimmel's class. Hey, I'm going to Miss Schimmel's class. So then like everybody just kind of shows up.
Ooh, ew.
And it
Mm-mm.
was like I wasn't very like I've definitely found my voice since then, and now I yell,
Right,
but I was not a yeller. I was like,
right.
guys, you need to get out. Everyone needs to get out. You're stressing me out.
Well, and in that story in itself, like that is a uh, cautionary tale for new teachers, I guess you can
Oh
say,
yeah.
because even in my first year of education, I had to deal with that too. It's like you don't want to turn kids away because, hey, I want you to feel safe and welcome within my classroom. But there's a fine line between having the kids feel like they can always come to you and them breaking into your boundaries as an
Yeah.
educator, your bubble or your space as an educator. And so like you have to, like you say, find your voice as an educator to be able to say, hey, listen, it's too many kids in this class. You guys are going to have to not be able to come into class today, maybe tomorrow, maybe some other time, but right now we're kind of packed, and I can't have all of these students in the class because then that in itself becomes a safety hazard. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to go through that, Miss Schimmel.
Oh no, it's hilarious. I think
Oh,
it's funny.
but well, I'm sure that the kids thought that that was funny too, but as an educator, I don't. Well, I
Oh
mean,
no. So also on my first year of teaching,
right.
these two kids got in a fight in my classroom.
Ooh.
And when I was jumping over the desk to get, out from the desk, I lost one of my shoes. So that
Okay.
so that was the running joke.
Oh, baby. Oh,
No,
baby.
I was really struggling. My
One
first year
shoe
was not
Schimmel. Did
great.
did they call you one shoe Schimmel?
No, but they should have. That's hilarious. No, but anytime I wore those shoes after that, they'd be like, "Oh, look, you're wearing both of them." I'd be like, "Thank you. Thank you."
and okay. So was this in middle school too? Were you
Yeah,
teaching?
it was eighth
Oh
grade. Yeah.
God. Yeah. Listen. eighth graders, seventh graders are relentless when it
Oh yeah.
comes
No.
to clowning people. Like that is a talent that they have.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Like you can't teach middle school if you're like sensitive.
oh no, oh
Like they
no,
will hurt your feelings.
oh
Like
yeah. Either
even me,
unintentionally or
yeah.
intentionally, they will hurt your feelings.
I had one, this is probably one of my favorite stories.
Uh
This
huh.
happened this year.
Okay.
Okay. And I I don't know what happened, but I have gained this impeccable sense of like not listening. So like sometimes they'll be talking to me and I won't even know.
Yeah.
Well, this kid, he comes up to me, he goes, Miss Schimmel, when's your birthday? And I was like, oh, it was at the beginning of the school year. It was that first Friday. You don't remember? Like we celebrated my birthday. We did like an activity. And he was like, I wish it was later. And I was like, oh, because you got to know me and you want to like like bring me a gift or something. He goes, yeah, I'd get you a gift. I'd get you some hearing aids. And then he just walked out of my room.
These they
I was like,
hmm,
good talk.
they are they listen they
They're so
but
cute.
I guarantee you that it was said out of love.
You know what? At
The
least I wouldn't have to buy my own hearing aids.
true, true, and those things are not cheap, as I'm gonna have to find out here shortly. Anyway, so with that being said, why don't you tell our audience about one of your best days as an educator?
I have lots of good days.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I know.
probably probably one of my favorites is actually happened recently. It was like super like maybe like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And one of my really, really low babies came up to me and me and him didn't have he's one of my I get new students at the semester, so he's one of my newer students. And so I don't
Yeah.
have the best relationship with him. And he's one of those kids that it's kind of hard to tell, like, okay, do they like me? Do they not? But he's
Hmm.
also one of those kids that all of the teachers find out he's in your class and they're like, oh, good luck.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm like, oh, and he comes up to me and usually he like has this like hard demeanor. He's like, I'm so cool. I'm like, yeah, buddy, you do you. And comes up to me super sweet with like these baby eyes and Miss Schimmel. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And I knew something. I thought something was wrong because
Hmm.
he looked so sweet. I was like, ain't no way. And he goes, will you help me do my course selection? My
Oh,
mom didn't understand the directions, and I don't know how to do it, and I don't have anybody else to help me. And my heart just like it like fills your cup, but then it also hurts your feelings because you're like, oh, poor baby doesn't have anybody else to help him. But then I'm
right,
like, he chose me.
right. He, he- wow. He came to you, the uh, the killing part about that whole thing is you said like his mom couldn't help, so he came to you
Yeah.
to ask for your help, like a parental figure in that kid's life. And wow, in that short time, you were able to build that type of a relationship with that young man. Wow, how does that make you feel? I mean,
It makes you it like it just like makes you feel so warm and fuzzy. Like wow, like these kids really have someone to like lift them up and like students all day long it's they'll come out of their academic math teacher because I'm the elective, so they come to me um, as an additional support math
right,
class, so they have 90 minutes of math a day, and they'll come to me after their academic classes and be like, look how well I did, look how well I did. And just like every time they do that, I'm always like they want that validation and that praise from somebody. And it's just like so sweet that like they want it from you because that means they care about how you like your opinion.
yes, yeah, yeah. And once again, middle schoolers to for them to want your opinion, that's actually a lot because anybody who's ever taught middle school will tell you that this is a special breed of kids. That's a, that is amazing. That is actually very heartwarming to know that you've impacted students' lives to the point to where they want your feedback and your input, and be able to come to you and be able to say to you, hey, this is what I'm doing in this classroom with my math. And you had a role in doing that. That's, listen, that's something to be proud of. I've been doing this education thing for a little bit, and I can tell you, you're on a roll. You are on a roll to make that impact on some kid's life, and possibly leading into our next section, become some kids' favorite teacher, which brings us to the namesake of the podcast, your favorite teacher's favorite teacher. And in this part of the podcast, what I like you to do is just talk to our audience about people that have impacted you as an individual, a teacher, somebody who has, uh, I don't know, uh, said those things to you to where you felt like, hey, I want to be uh, approved by this person because they impacted me the way that you've impacted your students. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you talk about those people who have impacted your life in that way.
Okay, so I have three.
Okay.
I have my Algebra 2 teacher from when I was in high school, and nobody, I think he was the most amazing math teacher I ever had. Like,
Okay.
I absolutely loved his class. Like, he taught how I learned. Like, he made me fall in love with math. Like, for sure, I did not love math until I was in his class. Um, and then
So
I had, oh
what,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. What you said, something that caught my ear. You said that he taught how you learned. Well, what do you mean by that?
So everybody kind of learns differently. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's hard to like reach certain kids if
Right.
you don't teach the way that they learn. So like some kids are auditory learners or visual learners or tactile learners. So just like the way he taught, everything just like made sense to me.
Oh, wow. Do you now now looking back on it as an educator, do you think that he recognized that you needed that and planned for that versus just giving it that one approach meets all?
No.
All right, tell me, talk to
It
me
was
about
kind
that.
of, he had his one approach,
Hmm.
and that was the only way he did it.
Right.
It just happened to be the way that I like to learn.
That's
So
awesome.
I lucked out.
That's, I mean, hey, listen, it is what it is, right?
No, it is
Right.
what it is. I was like, I could lie and be like, yeah, he really made sure every kid, but he didn't. I just got lucky.
Well, I mean, look, not and you also have to take into consideration, um, this education thing is an evolution for the teachers as well. Think
Oh, yeah.
about your first year compared to where you are right now, 3 years later. Where I was when I first started to where I'm at right now, like totally different teachers, and with research and learning, we learn. So you know better, you do better, right? So maybe you just caught him in his beginning part of his career. So let's say that you just caught him at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. He was super fun. He joked I think that's part of it too, is like he made tons of jokes,
Hmm.
and I was the only one who ever thought they were funny because they were like math jokes. And so you have to understand math to understand the joke.
Oh, like your buddy, uh, um, uh, Miss Wortham. I was in
Oh
her
yeah.
class and she was
Her
giving out
math
math
Mondays.
jokes.
Yeah. Her math joke Monday. She's so silly.
I mean, hey, if that's what it takes to reach that one kid that wouldn't have been reached otherwise, because you said that you weren't into math like that,
Yeah.
and if that's what it takes, that's great.
Yeah.
And look what you ended up becoming, a math teacher.
I
So,
know. I'm so cool.
yes, you are. I agree. But you said you had two other teachers that you wanted to recognize and give their flowers
Yeah.
to.
And then I had my sculpture teacher. So
Sculpture.
I know. I'm so bougie. Uh,
Uppity Shimmel. I'm so uppity.
I had my sculpture teacher, and I know this is going to be so hard to believe right now. I'm going to
Okay.
shock the world. Okay.
Okay.
I was a total loser in high school.
No, not you.
Yes. No, me. Like my current fiance,
Mm-hmm.
we actually graduated together.
Uh-huh.
He didn't know me. He didn't know who I was. We graduated in the same class.
Oh wow.
I was a total nobody. Like I did not really like have friends. I was strictly there. I got my straight A's, went home, went to dance, went to bed. Like
Mm,
I didn't really talk to anybody. I just wanted to get it done
mm,
and
mm, mm.
get through it. And so, which is really surprising knowing me now.
Yes.
But
Yes. You're very, very
I'm
outgoing.
very, I am.
But
It's crazy.
well, and here's the thing. This is this like I was talking to some other teachers on this podcast about some years ago when uh I received letters from students that uh because if you know me, I'm big on um preaching to the kids and letting them know, hey, look, this is what the real world has to offer you. If you continue down the path that you're going down, then it's not going to be easy for you.
Yeah.
And the students that I was trying to relay that to, a lot of them didn't get it. But then I'd get these messages from students who, like you said, was a kid that came to school, wanted to do stuff, get it over with, and just go home. Some of those were the kids that I actually reached, and they would leave me letters at the end of the school year saying, "Hey, Mr. Stubblefield, that speech that you gave in class, or how we could tell that you cared about us and this, that, and other." And I'm like, wow, yes, I care about all my students, but like that message was for other students. And I didn't realize that it actually reached those kids like you just described.
Yeah.
And that's wow, that's major, so like these teachers that you have and you are sharing with the audience about, like, I'm pretty sure they didn't even think, because you were that kid coming in, doing what you were supposed to do, and then leaving, that they made the impact that they did on your life.
Yeah. I actually ate lunch sophomore through senior year. I ate lunch in her classroom
Oh, wow.
every day
Oh,
because I
wow.
was like, I'm not going in that cafeteria. Like, there's too many people. It's too loud. I don't hang out with any of these people. And so I would go into a room and I would like during lunch she usually had like an art one class, so
Right.
I'd go in and like help the art one kids or like sit and do homework in the corner, and it just like was our daily thing. Or like we'd sit and she'd like eat a snack and talk to me if they were like finishing up a project and stuff. So
Oh,
I think that was a big part of like my building relationships, is like seeing how much more comfortable I was in her class and how much
mm-hmm.
more I like talked and got involved because I did have a relationship with her. So then I was able to make a relationship with the other students in the class.
Wow. Look at
Yeah.
that. Look at that. That's awesome. That is awesome.
No,
Huh.
she's great. We still talk.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you still keep in contact? Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that. Uh,
Oh yeah.
the is this teacher still teaching?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm saying that like you're around my age. You're still young, so
Right.
I'm pretty sure all your teachers are still teaching.
You know, most of them are.
I, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it.
I see them
Oh,
sometimes at PD, and I'll be like, "Hey, that was my teacher."
you're joking. How? I mean, how does that feel to? Well, you said you were a quiet kid. I could not imagine running across any of my teachers as bad as I was growing up. But like, how does it feel to go to professional development and run into your old teachers?
I'm gonna be so honest. Most of them don't remember me. I had one
Because you
of
were
them.
quiet. Because you
Yeah,
were quiet.
I had one of them that like made an announcement during like it was like one of the like new teacher orientations. She made an announcement. She was like, "If I was ever your teacher, come take a picture with me." And I went up there. She goes, "I didn't teach you." I was like, "Yes, you
Oh
did."
my.
I described myself, and she was like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah, that was me. I was the little short one that didn't really say anything."
Oh, yeah. Well, and to the teacher's credit, seeing a bunch of students over time,
Oh yeah.
they begin to blend together.
Oh yeah.
I've had students that have come up to me and like, "Hey, Mr. Stubblefield, you remember me?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're so grown now. I
You're so
you're
gross.
you're an adult, so it's kind of hard to tell." Oh man. But yeah, yeah. Hey, people start to blend together after
Oh
time.
yeah.
I'll say that. But you had another teacher. Who tell us about the
So
third teacher?
the third one is actually my sister.
Oh,
She was a
okay.
first grade teacher, and now she's a stay-at-home mom with my niece and nephew, and she's about to have another nephew. Well, another
Oh.
son, my nephew. But so she's living her best life. But when she first started teaching,
Hmm.
that was like my holy grail. Like anything I needed, like it was like she really helped guide me on my path and like helped me out, like going through school, like my first year, like how do I handle this situation or this is happening and what do you think I should do? And it was nice to like because me and my sister are so close, it was nice that
Hmm.
she could help me out in that way as well.
Yes.
Because she knew what I was going through.
Well, and I will say, as somebody who has been in your classroom, your pedagogy is very sound. Would you accredit that to your sister helping you out?
Oh yeah. And
Okay.
especially like the fact that she taught first grade because
Okay.
they use all the hands-on manipulatives and all of that stuff. So when you try to transfer that into junior high, especially for like a math elective class where they do need that extra tactile help, but nobody teaches you how to bring that into the higher levels because you
Right.
bring out counting cubes and the kids look at you like, "I'm not this dumb." And it's like, "No, you're not this dumb. This is just how like I'm just gonna show you this like so that you can visually see it." But they think that you're treating them younger because you're helping
Hmm.
them use manipulatives. So
Yeah.
that transition to using manipulatives in junior high was like me and her had to like brainstorm and like figure it out. So
Oh, that's awesome. What,
yeah.
well, let me ask you this. What was the best bit of advice that your sister gave you coming into this profession?
Oh, the best bit of advice my sister gave me. I don't know. I don't really know that she ever gave me like advice. Trying to think. Because a
Mm.
lot of people tell you a lot of things.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And you have to take it for what it is
You have to say,
because
right.
you get a lot of bad advice, get a lot of good advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the best thing she said to me was, you know what's happening in your classroom, and if it's working for you, keep doing it.
Mm, yes. Yeah.
because I think a lot of people are like, well, that's not what I'm doing in my classroom. And it's like, okay, cool. You want a cookie? Like, good for you.
Well,
Like,
and it's personality, you
yeah.
know, to ask Miss Schimmel to teach the way that Mr. Stubblefield teaches. Like, you may not feel comfortable with uh, teaching the way that I teach, but there is something about the way that you reach your students that works for you. And your sister was absolutely right. So, any teachers out there listening to the podcast today, Mrs. Schimmel's sister is absolutely correct. You know what works for you and your students. It's about finding that happy balance between what you're comfortable with and what helps your students to be successful. Right, Schimmel?
Right. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's bribery.
Yeah. Hey, listen, these I will tell you, like that was my thing. Having a stash of candy in my desk for them students, and then and mm, and sometimes having like snacks for kids. Like, oh my lord, used to see when the students found out that I had snacks in my office. Oh my, that
No, they're
was
animals.
that was great. Once again, middle school
They eat
kids.
everything. They're like trash
That they
cans.
do. That they do.
They'll complain about it too. That's my favorite. Like I had chips, but they were like off-brand chips, and how
Right.
dare I get off-brand chips? But they're complaining about the chips being off-brand while eating the off-brand chips that I gave them. I'm like,
Oh, but the one thing that got me is like I would think that it would be the boys that would get more snacks than a little bit, but
no.
it is the girls. Middle school girls are hungry.
No, they are so no, they're absolutely I can't. And they'll like come up to you. I swear they act like we're doing some like secretive deal half the time. They'll be like, "Do you have snacks?" I'm like, "Why are you so close to me right now? Why are you whispering to me?"
Because they don't want everybody taking their snacks from them. That's why. Oh man, hey, that like I say, middle school is special, and it takes a special kind of person to teach middle school. A lot of people don't understand the things that we go through as educators in middle school. And this actually brings us to the next part of the podcast, the part that I like to call "Tell them how you feel." And in this part, Miss Schimmel, I like for you to talk to the audience, well, mainly parents who don't understand what it is that we go through on a day-to-day basis as an educator. And just tell them about like just release, let go about how you feel about being an educator, what it is that you want them to understand about what you go through on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully it'll get to the right ears, and we'll be able to make some happy changes in education. But I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and I'll let you talk about what it's like to be an educator in today's society.
Well, first of all, the way your student talks at home is not the way your student talks at school.
So true.
Okay. Listen, there are more cuss. I've learned so many new words from these students. And I'm like, how? I don't even know. But
And remember, we teach middle school, so
yes. And I'm
sixth,
like,
seventh, and eighth graders.
did I even know these words when I was in middle school? Like I don't even remember. Like I don't even know. But um it's just it's different than what everybody thinks it is. Like it's not how it used to be. It's not how even I'm young and it's
Yeah.
changed so much since when I was in middle school. Um like our desks are not in rows. We do not get handed notes to fill out and homework to do every night. Like it's very um, open and very communication based. Okay, what do you need from me? What do I need from you? Let's explore this topic together. Go talk to your partner, share ideas, which is wonderful.
Hmm.
But it also kind of students have to learn more how to advocate for themselves
Right.
because if you're talking with your partner and you understand what your partner says, that's great. And then you understand the topic you do that day, but then the next day you have a different partner and you don't understand what they're talking about, but you're too embarrassed to go ask the teacher or something like that. And now you're confused. And then you go home and you say, well, I don't know what we're doing because blah, blah, blah didn't teach me. And it's like, okay, well, did you ask? Did you ask for help? Did you go get the help? And I'm lucky. I only have 15 kids per class
Hmm.
because I am an intervention teacher. But in these classes where you have like 26 to 30 kids
Right.
in 45 minutes, that's like a little bit more than a minute per kid without doing whole group. Like if you're pretending or cheating, it's hard to catch it.
So true. So
Yeah.
true. And so, what I hear you saying is one of the biggest things that we can do to help our students is to get them to understand that they should advocate for themselves.
Yes.
If there is something that the student didn't get in the classroom, like you have to be able to communicate that to the educator and say, I really don't understand this. Can you
Yeah.
help me? Right. Um, and you also stated that with the classes being so open, we benefit uh, from that as well. So, can you talk a little bit more about how this change on us not being in rows, students being able to work together in groups, like it, because just yesterday you were in school yourself, um, how you think that that's better for our students than when you were in school yesterday?
So, stop it. So I think the students get a bigger grasp on the main idea,
Hmm.
as well as it helps them out with like the critical thinking skills that like, and I think the biggest question we get as educators all the time is, when am I going to use this?
Right.
When am I actually going to need this? And you might not need this, but the problem solving and the critical thinking that you have to use to get there to figure out this stuff, that is what you're going to use.
Yes.
So I think one of the biggest things is that with an open classroom and more exploratory lessons, these kids are actually having to problem solve to figure out the curriculum. And they're having to go through the creative process and the productive struggle,
Mhm.
and they have to keep pushing past it. And a lot of students have benefited from it because they actually understand the math. They're not just memorizing a formula and how to plug it in. And sometimes the kids will tell me something, and I'll look at them like they're crazy because I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they show me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like nobody ever taught me like that.
Right.
Like that makes so much sense. Like I just know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but thank you for showing me like that we can put circles into squares and triangles and all of the stuff. Like it's very cool to see what they come up with and their own
Right.
definitions of things, which isn't something that I got in school. I got the definition, here's a problem, now do your homework.
Right. Right.
And these kids are getting to make their own definitions, their own ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me that that does create those innovative thinkers, the people who can think outside of the box. Because if we create a bunch of automatons that, hey, do it rudimentary like this follow these steps, then uh, we are creating what people talk about. Education was built for that assembly line, but when students are able to think outside of the box, we get more innovative, creative people in our society. um, and you bring up a fantastic point with that. Um, so, with that being said, we're coming to the end of the podcast, and at this point, what I like my guests to do is to talk to the audience, tell the audience where they can find you, if you have any of the social medias that you youngins call it now, any social medias that they can follow you on. Just let them know that, and I'll let you close out the show by giving out your information.
So I'm actually really hard to find.
Really?
No, I'm
Surprise.
I know, I know. I have an Instagram and a Facebook, and
You
they're
got,
both just
oh,
like,
hold
I
on,
know.
pause. You
Okay.
said you have a Facebook?
Yeah.
That's a surprise. Because I didn't think young people did the Facebook thing. It's only for us old folk, right?
No, no.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
now our students, absolutely not. They think I'm totally old for having a Facebook, but that's how I keep up with all my friends, like from high school and stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I had a TikTok, but when everyone said, "Don't delete TikTok," I said, "I'm gonna delete it because I don't like to listen. It's terrible. In one ear, out the other." And so I deleted it. But my both my Facebook and Instagram are just Emily Shimmel. I think my Instagram might be Emily Shimmy. It's like one M and a Y.
Okay.
Um, and then I do have a TikTok with my best friend who Miss Wortham. She teaches with me. Love her. I think it's Besties Who Teach. I
Besties who teach.
I think I could be
I'm
wrong.
I'm gonna try and get her on the podcast, but at the same time, I'll try and get both of you guys together on the
Oh
podcast because
no, you
when
don't
we
want
get
that.
you two together, it's
It's a hoot
hilarity, is what it is. It is
or a mess.
definitely.
Which is hilarious because we have more than a 10-year age difference.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you do. But I mean, when you find your friend,
Oh,
you find your friend.
oh yeah.
All right. So I will also get Miss Schimmel's information and I will post it in the podcast information description and on the YouTube description as well. And you can also find her information on the website at wdsi.us. Once again, wdsi.us, where we do simple innovations for all educators in ed tech. All right. And with that being said, we're going to sign off. You guys have a great one. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Your Favorite Teacher's Favorite Teacher podcast. If you have a story you'd like to share, please contact me at wdstubblefield@wdsi.us. Again, that is wdstubblefield@wdsi.us. And you could be our next inspirational story of how educators impact our lives. I'm your host, Mr. Stubblefield, and I want you to remember, no profession is possible without your favorite teacher.